Hi all, this is Skate, and following on from yesterday's FV4004 Conway video, we're following up with another Conway video. Except this time we're not running the 120mm, we're running the 5.5 anti-tank gun. After yesterday's video I decided maybe I was a little bit too biased towards the 120mm, so I want to give the 5.5 inch anti-tank gun another go. And after doing so, I can confirm I am even more biased towards the 120mm. Now, that doesn't mean, in my opinion, this is a bad gun, but I think it limits the playstyle of the tank, and I also think it's just not as good as that 120mm. In fact, before the action kicks off, let me just quickly skip to this clip. Okay, I'm running the 120mm. There is a heavy tank. You can go straight to the side of his turret. You could do that with the other tank, the other gun, but not as quickly. That's not what this clip is about, by the way. You'll notice a full hit point Conway just around the corner. You know where this is going. Hesh, although it's not as high pen, by the way, if we can put one into the side of his turret, it's still effective at finishing low hit point targets quite reliably. But this is the purpose of this clip. That is a full hit point Conway by there. I missed, he penned. I have about half hit points. He didn't pen, actually, he did sod all damage. But he's running the big gun. I am not. I dropped an adrenaline, and then I went backwards like an idiot. But the point I want to demonstrate with this is when you are running the big gun, and you push a little too aggressively, you are caught off guard. When you are running the 120mm, you can play holy havoc with things. I was half hit points, he wasn't, so he must have come into this thinking, it's in the bag. But I'm running the little gun, which means my rate of fire, my DPM is considerably better. And the important thing I want to try and demonstrate with that is in close quarters combat, this gun is not as good as the 120mm. The 120mm can really dig you out of difficult situations. And then it got me thinking, well, in that case, I need to play this thing at a little bit more longer range. And then my argument in my own head was, well, hang on, Skate. If you've got to play this at longer range, but its accuracy is worse than the 120mm, it doesn't make sense. So because of the longer reload, you have to play this thing a little bit further range, or as a support vehicle for other tanks. Yet, the other gun will be a support vehicle much better. And on top of that, if it is caught close range, well, it's got the DPM to outdo it. And what is the actual argument when it comes to, yeah, but this is the Top Gun. It's got 1mm more penetration on its AP. Also, I got stuck with an E100 pushing me earlier. Haha. When there's an E100 and you're left in a 1 versus 1 and it's face hugging you as it comes around a corner, you got no hope with this gun of actually penetrating the turret. Not a chance in hell. With the other gun, the APCR, you have 326mm of penetration, which means you will go through it no problem at all. So from that perspective as well, I feel the 120 is more versatile. Now you gotta remember as well, this is coming from a man who loves his big derby guns. I genuinely enjoy playing with tanks which have huge alpha shots or big alpha shots. So having a choice on the Conway, it was ideal. Me and Meadsy discussed this at a bit of depth, and even then he was like, you gotta go for the big gun, Skate. And my answer was, I'm kind of leaning towards the 120 still. Now, wholeheartedly, I have to go with the 120. One of the counter arguments could be, yeah, but you need to expose yourself more often to use that DPM. I do agree. But with this, you have to expose yourself for a longer period at once. So, in that circumstance, shooting at that Borsig, I wouldn't have done as much damage, but I would have snapped that shot off much quicker. On top of that, another thing to consider, you need a lot more lead with this gun than you do the other gun. This has 850 meters per second shell velocity. The other one has 1067, so it really puts its shells on point. And then we come on to what might be my biggest gripe with this gun. Now again, I don't hate the gun. It's an alright gun. But why did Wargaming insist on giving it low Hesh alpha? AP on this, 600. Hesh on this, 670. I kind of feel like using the Hesh is just an alternative to the AP. It kind of feels like it does the same sort of thing. It feels like you get virtually the same alpha, just with a less reliable pen. Logic. And then you've got the HE on this thing. The HE has 70mm of penetration and 770 alpha. Now that I'm okay with, and I'll explain why. 5.5 inch is not a huge gun. I mean, it's not small, but it's not massive. As a perspective, an IS-7 packs a 130mm gun with 68 HE penetration and 600 alpha. An E100 packs 85mm penetration and 960 alpha, and that is with a 15cm gun. 5.5 inches broken down into millimeter perspective is literally just shy of 140mm, so it falls nearly smack bang between those two. So from that perspective, the HE alpha does make sense in my head, although I would argue the penetration's on the low side. But then that's what frustrates me the most about this. The Hesh is meant to be high explosive squash head. It's very aggressive HE, so therefore it should have the same alpha damage. It should have 770 with 200mm of penetration, not 670. And it fails me in terms of logic how someone in Wargaming can go, hang on, let's evaluate this Hesh round at high tier, and we'll take 100 off its HE. This might be a way of balancing the Hesh round. But that's straight after someone has gone, I know, let's give the tier 8 220mm of penetration and 4,200 damage per minute with it. Where's the logic? I'm genuinely failing to get my head around this. I'd love to speak to the person who balanced the charioteer and then went, let's be very careful with this higher tier Hesh now, and let's give it really poor alpha in comparison to the HE it should get. Because come on, it's not like you're giving it a huge advantage. I mean, okay, check this out. Angled down IS-7. AP bounces. Now that's just a bit of bad luck. But if you're desperate to kill that thing in that circumstance, the answer is, I know, I'll get a high pen round. Oh, no, wait, I don't have one. I know, I've got high alpha Hesh. Well, that'll deal with the job. Not as well as it should, because it doesn't have 770, it has 670. Man, I'm going off on a little rant here, but I'm not going to, but you get my point, yeah? I was trying to protect this waffle then by coming out and possibly taking the shot, but I nearly killed him in the process. Actually, just had a thought. You want to know what the best countermeasure for a charioteer is? It's a Conway with a 120mm. Conway with the 5.5 inch AT gun. Not a chance against a charioteer. But the other gun, it will literally eat the overpowered little tank for breakfast. Just to say as well, sorry, if you do run your calibrated shells with this instead of the gun rammer, it gives you 220mm of penetration. But guess what? You still only have 670 alpha. Kind of sounded salty about that now. But you do get my point, yeah? 770 alpha is absolutely fine, because it's 140mm or thereabouts, so it's smack bang between 130s with 600 alpha and 15s with 960 alpha. But 670, not cool, Wargaming. And I know someone's going to write in the comments, yeah, but it's for balance, Skate. Yeah, it's charioteer. Whoever writes, it's for balance. I'm just going to respond with charioteer. Saying that, we've had all this in the past with Wargaming and Hesh before. That, by the way, I was very surprised that went in, because that was virtually unaimed. So yeah, all in all, guys, the AT gun, the anti-tank 5.5 inch gun, by no means a bad gun in any shape or form, but for me, I much prefer the other gun. Hands down, it just, in every single way, its stats are beautiful. In fact, let me just end this video on a funny little clip, just to give you an idea how good the accuracy is and how much it's worth it in my head. So we're going to see the tiny top for Tiger. He can have a cheeky Hesh round. And then we're going to try and push forward. We're going to put a blind shot. I don't know if that actually went in or not. And then we're going to push forward and we're going to deal with a funny tank. And I say it's a funny tank because you got no chance of doing this with the other gun. Or many guns in the game for that matter. You ready? Check out how much this tank is showing. And how quickly we... how quickly we snap that shot in. Yeah, there we are. 3 kills. Less than 1,000 damage. Kill stealing confirmed. But that is it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I love the Conway, guys. Please don't interpret this video as such. I just feel a little bit let down by that 5.5 inch gun. And for me, I'm going to be rocking that 120mm. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.